Hello, it's Penny, and this is the third episode of Theo's Minions. Once again, I have come to a standstill because I do not know what the heck this show is going to be about. So, for the sake of simplicity, right now it's just going to be a show about whatever comes to mind. As it stands right now, the Enigmatic Monster project is going to go through another rebrand, and that's mainly because the project is evolving and my understanding of what makes a brand as a designer is evolving with it, and I'm understanding things more. And I've mentioned being a designer, so I guess that means I shall talk about working. And the hardest thing I find right now is finding my voice after I've lost it for a while. And I don't mean that literally, I mean that more in the sense that, I had a bad year, especially near the end in 2014, and 2015 could have been better. There were a lot of things that came to the surface that I had to deal with. One of them was anxiety, another was depression. Now, last year, during the fall, I was hired at a place that I will not name. Some of you, if you're listening to this, if you know me personally, you've heard all about it. And oh my gosh. When I was working there, at first it was fine. I liked it. And then I began to see, different things, and I began to realize different things. And then a lot of things that I had experienced earlier in the year, specifically while I was still working at Walmart. I worked at Walmart as a cashier for almost 2 years, and I hated it. And I developed very, very bad anxiety there. It's a very stressful job. Like, those people who have been working there for years, like, you know what? There's something that they're doing right. Or they're just in a better place. I have no idea. But working as a Walmart cashier was not a good job, and it wasn't a very positive experience. The people I worked with were fine, but again, you hear this all the time, so it's not really new. The people who shop there, the Walmartians, the people of Walmart, whatever you want to call them, a lot of them, it's not really consistent. Certain days, a lot of people are going to be great. Certain days, a lot of people are going to be horrible. And you are going to learn very quickly that it is very hard to judge somebody just by the way they look. You can't judge their character by the way they look. That is the most ridiculous thing, and you know what? It annoys a lot of people, and it annoys me too, to no end. So, you learn very quickly that labels they're only good for, so much, and then you have to throw them away. So anyways, working at Walmart was stressful, and I'll just leave it at that. Before I left, I was getting to a breaking point. Anyways, developed very bad anxiety there, and that didn't help. And I quit. I found another job, and I was able to quit. And you know what? I was a lot happier there. At the other job. Even though I ended up quitting that job too. And I was actually a lot happier now that I had just gotten myself out of one environment and had, made my way into different things. I was doing more stuff for myself. But in the last job, I had the third one that I had in 2014. Like I said before, things started out great, and then other things caught up to me, and it was a disaster. I have no idea what happened. Like, at first I could do the work, but then, the person who was training me, they knew how to do their job, but they weren't really that great an instructor, and at the same time I could have asked for more help, but I didn't know what questions to ask. Nobody liked their job there. The boss, the person who owned the company, was an idiot. They still are an idiot. To this day, I still think they shouldn't be running a business. And you know what? On my third month, at the end of my third month, they let me go. And at first I was happy, and then I was really bummed because I was essentially let go before Christmas. They actually let me go early so they wouldn't have to pay me stat pay. A bunch of losers, but whatever. Don't really want their money. For what I was doing, it wasn't worth it. Like, it was a very hands-on job, and it was a job that basically you had to take care of your hands because they would be sore, and were just everything. Yeah, it was just not a good job. I wouldn't recommend working there. Of course, I'm not going to tell you the name. You probably already know because I might have mentioned it, or if you know me, you know what it's. Yeah. Anyways, anxiety is not fun. It really isn't. And it takes a while and a lot of work on your own part to better yourself and to just help heal or make things better for yourself. There's a lot of cognitive therapy, and there's a lot of different things that you need to essentially relearn. Because it just seems, everything you knew before goes out the window. Like, and I know this doesn't happen for everybody, or maybe it does. I don't know. But it's difficult and it's not fun. But I'm not really sure. This is unscripted, obviously, so there are a lot of different paths that I could go down with this, and maybe I could do my own series on it. I have no idea. Like I said before, not really sure where I'm going to take this show. I don't really want it to be... how do I put this? I'd rather have a show that has value. So if you have any tips or whatever, that is great. Because right now there are a lot of things with the Enigmatic Monster project that are a mess, and I am aware of that. Maybe you don't know that it's a mess, but we're still figuring things out, and we're still trying to find a vibe and a vibe. What does that even mean? We're still trying to find a vibe. I don't even know what that means. But we're still trying to find that magical something something. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. And it's taken a while. When I have the time, I work on this. There are a lot of other things that I need to work on. And everyone else, they do what they can, but they're busy. And I guess I don't really need to tell you that because that's obvious. We're all busy people. We're all busy human beings. Having fun, working, and when we're not working, we're working to find work, because that is... I would like to say life, but I really want to say Sault Ste. Misery. Anyways, I suppose I'll add some more project updates other than the branding. With the blog posts, things have slowed down a little bit. I'm actually going to be taking a vacation because my contract at my current work is ending this Friday. And it's kind of sad, but, you know, it was actually a really good job. And it was a good environment. And honestly, like, it just sounds ridiculous, but like, I had literally forgotten what it was like to work at a decent job. Like, and it wasn't and it's not a perfect place to work, you know, and every place is going to have its problems, but like, I'm not joking. Like, I don't know what. Maybe maybe you've experienced something similar, but oh my gosh. I guess lucky me that I can say this. Some people, they don't get their break, so I guess I'll just end it there, but I will say this: a good environment does wonders for a person, and people who can survive in a negative environment and still be happy and still be fine and still thrive, you need to give them a pat on the back and just, wow, like, it gives me a new appreciation. So that's all I'll say. I've probably rambled on long enough, which is okay. And oh yeah, I was supposed to give you blog updates. So I started working on the ABCs of Horror, which is coming along great. There's still some things that are being done illustration-wise. Again, this is going to be our best released yet. It's also going to be our largest, because we did stories for each of the alphabet from A to Z, and some have more entries than others, some don't. So most of the stories are fairly short, and some of the stories are actually really long. Mitchell Stoichev actually wrote some longer stories, which is good. I mean, it adds variation. I stuck a lot with the poetry. Earlier this year, I don't know, I just really caught the poetry bug, and I was just inspired by all the things that I was going through, and I just wrote poetry. And it turns out I really like poetry, and so do other people. And, I don't know, I guess horror and poetry go well together. I mean, the great thing about horror is that you can examine anything and look at it a different way, and it doesn't even have to be scary. It could just be something uncomfortable or weird, I mean, I don't know, I've been really enjoying it. So, I keep saying this, I probably said this a million times, but I'm going to stop right here before I go into 20-minute territory. Right now, I think it's like I'm in 14-minute territory, and I'm just going to stop right here. I'm going to pause. I'm going to take a small bow that you'll never see, and I will make sure that I actually post this to both my Tumblrs. Well, both Tumblrs that I have access to, and yep. Yeah, I hope you learned something or got something out of this. I have no idea. I am going to continue learning to code. I've actually finally made myself look again at HTML and CSS, and eventually I'm going to go into JavaScript, but I mean, as a designer, it is kind of my responsibility to at least be aware of this. I mean, I know not all designers code. Some are actually just in UX and UI, and the job that I'm currently in, that I'm finishing up, was actually in UX and UI, and I never thought that I would like something like that. And I mean, that's, I went to school for graphic design. It wasn't necessarily UX or UI, but it is, that doesn't really matter. If you can do the job, you can do it. But now I'm going to stop. I promise. I really do. And I'll take another small bow that you can't see. Maybe make some weird gestures. I'm actually waving my hands around, but you don't know. You probably don't believe me. I might just be a man. You don't know. I might not be a woman. I might be a man. I Might be a man and a woman taking turns talking at the same time. You don't know. That'd be pretty creepy if it was. Not really, but hey, whatever. You have a good night. And I'll go back to coding and being a coder and not stinking. Actually, that's a common misconception, you know. Not all people who code stink. That's only people who don't take showers. But I'm done now. Bye.